What is going on in the Loop, fans? It's Drew here with another Six Flags Passholder survey. I know the video we did last time people seem to enjoy, so here is another one, which I personally find a little more interesting than the previous one. Now, the previous one talked about different DC characters and Marvel characters that they were curious about if we wanted rides themed after. And this one is a little different, so come on in and join us as we show off what Six Flags is asking us in our Passholder survey this time. Now, the first question we got here is, what is the Six Flags park I visit most frequently? Now, normally my answer to this is Six Flags Over Georgia. Living in Orlando, I try to get to Six Flags Over Georgia once or twice a year. So normally that is where I click. However, I heard rumors on the internet that if you go Six Flags Magic Mountain on this survey, you get some interesting stuff. So I'm not going to go Six Flags Over Georgia on this one. Instead, I'm going Magic Mountain. All right, so I'm going to select Magic Mountain and see where this survey takes us. And the next question they want to know is how many kids or teens are living in our household. I have none, as it's just my wife and I, so clicking none there. And I am a current pass holder / member. I currently have one of the old memberships, so I'm going to select that and move on to the next topic. That being said, I am curious how long my membership is going to last before they make me upgrade to one of the new memberships. But either way, I currently have a membership now. So now Six Flags wants to know, what is my life like? And I am married. I am an adult without kids, and I'm definitely an extreme thrill seeker, liking them roller coasters and thrill rides and things like that. So those are my options there. So I turned the page, and yes, they want us to please watch the following video about a roller coaster design concept, and they'll ask us questions about it later. Well, basically the video they want to do is turn Superman, instead of a shuttle coaster that it is now, into a complete and crazy full circuit coaster that is longer than something like Top Thrill Dragster. Not too much longer, but definitely has more track and all of that than just up and down. So that is pretty sweet. So I watched the video. I'm sure if you Google or search around, you can find the video. I didn't want to include it, but I will give you guys some screenshots as we talk about it. It shoots you up in the tower, and then you do like a top hat element. So it's a complete inversion, diving straight back down through like a downward spiral, very similar to the Dragster or Kaz. And then the ride doesn't stop there. You do a station flyby, and you do a couple of turns and twists and all of that kind of stuff, sort of like Accelerator, before coming back into the station. So you're talking turning Superman into from dueling launch coaster, where you had two separate tracks doing the same thing, to one longer track where you've got thrilling elements and vertical drops and twists and turns and all this crazy stuff all on this tower. I have no idea where this idea came from, but it very much is a different Superman than the one we have grown to love and know at Six Flags Magic Mountain. All right, friends in the comments, go ahead and give us your thoughts on what you think of that crazy Superman attraction update and all of your ideas with that. Besides unrealistic, don't write unrealistic, because I think we're all aware that's unrealistic. But I just kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments on that. And so does Six Flags. They want to know, do I like it? Do I love it? Is it okay? I dislike this attraction. Or the video didn't play. Well, I loved it, selected that. And I don't see it happening, but it's a very Magic Mountain thing to happen. Not necessarily in like the new Six Flags era. So I'm really curious where this came from. If it was just like an intern pushing something. It looks like a $30 million plus project. So I don't get it. Plus, you know, Superman was just kind of recently updated. It got paint job. It now goes backwards. It never runs both sides anyway. So it's a very interesting idea that I don't actually see happening. But who knows? And then we got a comment section. What are our thoughts about the attraction? I'd ride it. Seems pretty sweet. And the next question is, how often would I ride it? And of course, every visit, if it's there. If you're putting a 400-foot tall strata coaster full length attraction, absolutely, I'd ride it every visit, pending capacity in line and all of that kind of stuff. And then who's the attraction going to appeal to? Obviously, teens, college-age students, and then adults. I don't see it appealing to families with kids 7 to 11, and I don't see it being younger kids. Also, I think the older you get, the less likely you are that you're going to want to ride it. So I answered that question pretty truthfully. I know me, when I'm like 60, hell yeah, I'm going to ride it. But I don't know. I don't see all adults wanting to do it. Now here's an interesting question. Would this attraction be something new at the park or just more of the same? Well, I mean, that's kind of a tough question for Magic Mountain because they have these giant steel roller coasters. So you've got like Twisted Colossus and Tatsu and X2 and Riddler's Revenge and Superman and Goliath. And they're all different, but in a sense, they're all big, giant steel roller coasters. So like the only thing really different that the park's built in the past couple of years was Justice League, and then this year with Crazanity. So is it something different? Yes, it's entirely different from like a theme park coaster perspective where you're getting a strata coaster that's full circuit rather than a launch coaster, shuttle coaster, something like that. But from the general public's point of view, I don't know if it is exactly the same or if it's different or anything like that. I mean, to me, it's awesome, and so I'm trying to encourage this idea to happen. So I would select that this would be something entirely new for the park. However, is it entirely new for the park? I don't know. And also, I still think this is completely unrealistic. Now it's time to select some key words. Which of the following words would you use to describe this attraction concept? Use at least 3. I think some of the interesting ones here are unsafe, clean. I think those are, and outdated. Those are ones that I think are really kind of weird, and I'm wondering why they are selected on here. I guess they have to do some things. Clean and Six Flags Magic Mountain never go hand to hand together. If you ever look at the supports of Tatsu, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with that one. Unsafe. I don't think anything in the theme park industry is unsafe per se. So definitely not that one. So I selected some amazing, awesome, beautiful, fast, thrilling, high energy, positive words because I want to be positive. This final section of the survey is a little strange. It's a new ride section, so you're almost done, and we're going to decide now what rides we like best and which ones we don't like. So you're going to get 3 different choice of rides, and then they describe each one slightly, and you pick on each page the best one and the worst one, and then there's one in the middle. Now, I will say, as I was going through this, none of these ride concepts make sense, so it's a lot of, ooh, let's see which one he chooses more. Does he choose airtime all the time? Does he choose twisting, interactive? So it's kind of interesting in a sense, so we're going to go through these and show you off some of the different choices that we had during the survey. On the first page, we had 3 different ones. The one that I didn't select was a basic target shooting game with super twisty like a pretzel and 2 coasters twisting around each other. So you see, they obviously don't all interact together, but it's judging to see if I will pick shooting games more often, super twisty more often, or 2 coasters twisting around each other. But I didn't select those. Instead, I selected for the best one, a competitive experience with no interactive gaming, straight and twisty, so a mix of both, and 2 coasters racing. The one that I said was the worst was competitive shooting, but mostly straight and only 1 coaster by itself. Now on to page 2. You've got some interesting choices here. Seat movement, seat shaking. So this I'm picturing like one of those Triotech 4D theaters, and 5 across riders per row. So you're talking like an interesting 5 across there. But upside down 7 to 15 times. Now, I love the Smiler up at Alton Tower, so I'm thinking record-breaking inversion coaster. That could be good for Magic Mountain. So that's why I picked that one as the best. So I kind of ignored the first 2, but 7 to 5 times upside down, the best. Now, the worst one in this category was never goes upside down, 3 across, and a flipping chair. That to me didn't seem very appealing at all. So that is why that one selected the worst. Now, to give you an idea of how similar some of these things are, this category now is how it launches. You want a slow climb. It's a gentle ride to the top with no music, but major weightlessness. Or you've got a fast climb, sounds and noises, thematic to the ride, and only some weightlessness. Or the third choice on here was extremely fast climb, like a rocket, custom music, each rider can choose their own, similar to like a Rip Ride rocket, but no weightlessness, you stay in your seat the entire time. Now this was really a tough choice for me because I really like airtime and weightlessness, and I don't think California has a whole lot of airtime, except for Twisted Colossus. Looking at you, great, but for the most part, your coasters do not have the airtime that we have. We don't have any of those like hyper coasters with tons of airtime hills and all that kind of stuff out there. So I want that, but I also really want that Superman weird thing that they're talking about. So I kind of answered this question being like, hey, looking at that Superman guy. So extremely fast climb. So that is where the launch answer came into play. Now the next question starts bringing characters into the play. Are we want a featured character of Bugs Bunny, Wonder Woman, or the third option is no character at all? And of course I went with Wonder Woman because everything's getting Wonder Woman theme there, more so than the no character. And Bugs Bunny, I don't really want a kids ride. This is Magic Mountain. Also has to do with me not being a child. I don't necessarily care about children's rides. So that is why I am going with Wonder Woman for that theme. The next question, the most interesting thing we got going on here, is indoor versus outdoor and top speed. So you've got them asking questions about indoor versus outdoor, or just indoor, and your top speed of 100 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, or 25 miles an hour. Well, of course, I'm looking at you, Superman. So my least likely one that I think is the worst is going to be top speed of 25. And the one I like the best, we're going 100 miles an hour. Hello, Superman. All right, next up on our question, we're talking about the shooting type rides again, but we're also talking about coaster track and maximum steepness. So you've got one that has gentle hills as a steel coaster, or you kind of have these other two options that are a little more appealing to me, where you've got a wooden coaster that's flat the whole time, or a steel track on a wooden frame with a vertical drop. So obviously the flat the whole time, that's the worst choice. And steel track, wooden frame, a la Twisted Colossus, hybrid coasters, them RMCs, with a vertical drop, sounds good. Also, vertical drop, trying to talk about that Superman ride. Vertical drop sounds great. So that is why that one got the best choice for me. And now we are back to talking about weightlessness. So you've got an option of a steel coaster with no weightlessness, so you're staying in your seat the entire time. Sounds like a forceful B&M invert or something like that. Or you're moving on to other choices like a steel track wooden frame with some weightlessness. I'd like to see an RMC try with only having some weightlessness. But of course, the answer that I selected as the best was a wooden coaster with major weightlessness. I kind of laughed at the seat shaking for under seat movement because, sometimes wooden coasters are rough, so you can see a lot of seat shaking going on there, vibrating back and forth. But that was that question. And now we're going to get into special effects. So we've got burning flames, icy snow, or giant wave of water. So which special effect looks best to us? Well, to me, it's definitely the burning hot flames. And definitely don't want to get wet. So a giant wave of water, that sounds like a water ride. I'm not thinking like Universal Spritz there. I'm thinking like tidal wave where you get the giant splash of water in your lap and you get soaked and then you're miserable for the rest of the day. So not my type of thing, so that's definitely the worst there. Burning hot flames. Hey, this is Six Flags. We put flamethrowers on everything, so that seems like a good idea to me. I support that idea. So you can see these survey questions kind of go on and on about different types of things you're interested in. The next question talks about featured characters. So you've got Batman or Darkseid. I don't know. I'm really not a comic book guy. I don't know anything about that. And then after that, you go on, do you want pirate theming, superhero and metropolis theming, or a tropical jungle theming? Tropical jungle theme actually seems kind of interesting, but I'm not sure where you would put it in this park. It's very much like a King Ka type theming, I guess. Next up, we got how long do we think the ride will last and what direction you want to be when riding. So you want to be spinning, you want to be forwards, or you want to be backwards. And is the ride going to last 2 minutes, 4 minutes, or just 1 minute? And our final question of interest here we've got is how long will the line be? Are you talking it's going to be 60 minutes, or are we saying 2 hours, or are we saying no wait whatsoever? Obviously, no wait is not a good thing. That means the ride is kind of boring or lame or something like that. 2 hours seems reasonable for a new ride when it's new. Obviously, get there at open, run, be efficient, get there as quickly as you can, or get that flash pass. So something along the lines of that. But interesting question there. I don't think they are going to get the proper data on that one, because clearly most people are going to say, I want no wait. But if you have no wait, then that means nobody likes the ride and all of that kind of thing, or its capacity outweighs its demand. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. So go ahead and leave your comments below on what your thoughts are about this Six Flags survey, about that Superman concept or anything else you think they might be hinting at during this ride questions. We would like to appreciate that. We appreciate all of your feedback and your comments. Also, follow me on Twitter at DrewTheIntern. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/InTheLoopPodcast. Of course, we'll see you on the Midway, whether it be Six Flags Magic Mountain, Six Flags Over Georgia, or any of the other Six Flags parks around the nation.